Hey guys, Professor Bell, Comic Book University, and Elvira Meets H.P. Lovecraft. Never thought I'd be reading, God forbid, reviewing an Elvira comic book. Was never a really big fan of her before. I seen her one movie, Elvira Mistress of the Dark, which is referenced in this book at one point. It's hysterical. And I kept on thinking to myself, this is H.P. Lovecraft. Nowadays, everybody's like, oh, he's a racist, he's racist, he's racist. And somehow that was still addressed multiple times in this comic book and actually in a really fun way. Did Professor Bill just say, whatever you want, yes, okay? Make yourself at home. Nonetheless, this was freaking hysterical. I actually really loved this comic book. I can't wait to read more. I might actually become a permanent Elvira aficionado, particularly if the current team stays attached to this. Let's get talking about this comic book and who made it specifically. So, Elvira Meets H.P. Lovecraft. Story by David Avalon. Maybe some relation to Frank Avalon? Not sure. Art by Kuber Bal. Bal is an interesting name because it's the name of a god from the Bible, or a demon, however you want to look at it. Bal also means hair in Hindi. And hey, Elvira has interesting hair. Colors by Walter Pereira. I have nothing interesting to say about Walter Pereira. I don't know the guy. Um, anyway, letters by Taylor Esposito, whom I've seen many letters by this individual, and he's actually really good. I think we're friends on Facebook. I'm not sure. Anyway, special thanks to Scott Marcus and Cassandra Peterson. I don't know who Scott Marcus is, but Cassandra Peterson sounds familiar. Oh, wait, yeah, that's Elvira. Actually, I had to look that one up. I didn't look up Marcus, though. Anyway, this was a really fun book, guys. It should not have been. It's something like it should not have been. In my observation, it's freaking Elvira. I remember seeing a news report about her a long time ago when they were talking about her movie coming out, Mistress of the Dark, where they were like, oh, apparently she got her start by running around a hotel room with Elvis. I'm like, oh, well, that would explain where the name came from, Elvis, Elvira. Interesting. And she's just some chick with really big honkers who, well, it turns out she's actually kind of funny in that self-deprecating kind of way. Um, Never really got into her. I thought that the movie was actually pretty good. I think I was 12 when I saw it. Probably should not have been watching it. Like, that's the thing. Her things aren't really that sexy, or at least that movie I don't think was. Until the very end, they started doing this thing with these little suction cups on her nipples, and she started, like, spinning the little tassels. It is what it is. This comic book showed a brief bit of butt cleavage, and that was it. That was it. and and the whole thing was commentary. She's talking to the camera like She-Hulk would, which is hysterical. She's oh my god. So she's trying to hang out with some Wolfman dude and trying to get with him, who's acting like Elvis. Very the guys. I just after the thing I just mentioned, it's like that is hysterical. Considering that's where she got her start from, right? This guy David Avalon has done 33 adventures with Elvira recently for Dynamite. I'm good for another 33 more. I think I might actually go back and read some of his older stuff just because like there's nothing going to be brilliant about this. It's but really good fun. It's so self-deprecating, it's so self-aware. It's it's not it's poking fun of itself while not completely diminishing itself, right? It's okay to walk around and be like, you bump your head. It's like, oh, gee, you figure I'd learn how to look where I'm going, right? That's cute. But if you walk around and you're like, I'm so stupid. I can't believe I'm so stupid. You'd be like, okay, this person has problems, right? And you'd say the same exact thing about this comic book. The person writing this has problems. No, this was just too much fun. They reference Dynamite Comics in this. They She actually at one point when H.P. Lovecraft appears says something to the effect of, "You're a racist." Amongst all these other things, you're a racist. Brings it up again later. Brings it up again a third time. At one point, the whole idea is they have to go and find the last true original copy of the Necronomicon in order to prevent Cthulhu from running around and doing crazy stuff. And it's funny, like it's apparently gonna get H.P. Lovecraft some repentance. Who knows? Who knows? A little bit of forgiveness for being a psychopath and a racist and I don't know, being a WikiLeaks leaker about the Cthulhian mythos. Anyway, I'm starting to wonder if maybe he's actually a bad guy in this because he started reading out loud from the Necronomicon. I don't think there's any minimal spells in the Necronomicon. Is my understanding that if you read anything out of the Necronomicon, the stuff can actually come true, and that's not just from watching Army of Darkness and the Evil Dead predecessors. That's from actually like being in the mystical, whatever, the occult, like looking at the occult. I've looked at everything religious you can imagine, my peeps. So at one point he's going in and testing this one Necronomicon, and there's a black guy who's in charge of this area that he's at. And he's like, "Oh, thank you much for your help, but sir," or something to that effect. And I'm like, "Oh no, he did not just almost call this guy boy." No, he did not. He's like, and that's the thing. Frank Avalon, was one of the two. He could have said N instead, right? And that would have been too far. But instead he just says buh. And you either figure it out or you don't. They don't pepper these jokes for you. It's like either you get them or you don't. I was laughing hysterically. You know, when they say certain jokes aren't funny, or certain topics of jokes, certain jokes. A joke could not be funny, but a topic of jokes saying that it's never funny, you don't belong in a comedy club. You don't belong looking at humor. You don't belong looking at books like this. It's as simple as that. This was hysterical. I'm dying reading this stuff. There's a black guy right in front of him. All these comments about the idea that you were a racist and therefore you're a terrible person. And I'm like, yeah. But then, like, it was just done so well. Hey, somebody check for me. Is David Avalon black? Because if he's black, he can get away with all this stuff. If he's white, he's just really good. He's really good at this stuff. Freaking Avalon gets called out in this book by Elvira, which is funny because he's calling out himself about the reusing the same plot with the MacGuffin all the time. I don't care. That's hysterical. I'm loving this. But at one point when Lovecraft walks in and he sees that it's a black guy there, Elvira's like, "Problem? Why would there be a problem?" "No, just checking." Because he's black. Like, I'm dying. I'm freaking dying reading this comic book. I swear to God, every single thing with the exposition, every single qualm that I had about reading this comic book, zoom, right out the door. Don't even care. This is an hysterical comic book. I'm loving this. I'm not loving the bronchitis that's stopping me from being able to breathe through my nostrils. That's why I sound so weird right now. Apologies. But I am loving these freaking stories in this right now. Going to be reading more of these. I'm actually going to see if I can't interview these guys. Maybe when this series is over. I don't know. We'll see. But this was so freaking funny. It was so good. The story it had me going. When you see the surprise appearance at the end, if you have ever dabbled in the Lovecraft world, you're going to look at this and be like, "Oh my, okay, they went there." And you're going to be happy they did. Such a good book. Guys, other good books happen to be my books that I put out. So go and check out my Kickstarter. It's going to start a week from today. Hopefully I get this up by Friday because March 1st, Friday, these books will be out. It's a book on traps for Dungeons & Dragons or any other realm that you might find yourself in for role-playing, and one on riddles, which who the hell does books on riddles, right? Well, I do. So more than 300 riddles in there. But that Kickstarter is going to start on Friday. You have the opportunity to get one or either or both of these books. I'm sure you hear Cthulhu in the background messing with my bags, otherwise known as my cat Bagel. And I will leave you guys with that. You never know. Which one could it be? Talk to you all later. Like the video. Watch an ad. Check out my Kickstarter. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.